Thanks for staying tuned. Well, let's delve straight to the conversation of the day. The social media world in Nigeria, even in the Niger Delta region, has apparently witnessed some sort of a revolution and has widely become a tool deployed to address salient issues as they affect Nigeria in general, using different genres of arts. Now, here in the Niger Delta region, where we can indeed boast of some eminent personalities in the entertainment industry who have distinguished themselves in their arts and crafts, we'd like to know how these tools for social, political, economic change can be deployed effectively, and has that been the case in the past? Now, the Niger Delta region grapples with real societal issues like environmental degradation, poor resource control policies, and dwindling political will. Can the arts and crafts that emerge from this area be a go-to path to preaching the real realities in the region and creating the much needed awareness that will lead to effective change? We've been joined by a comedy skit maker who is, of course, a Niger Delta child. His name, Gift Festus, popularly known as Schoolboy. You're welcome on Niger Delta Today. It's good to have you on the program.
Good to have you, sir.
Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Well, we see that comedy skits is becoming like a regular norm now. People are talking of comedy skits. People are getting to watch more of comedy skits. And the conversation now is that an aspect which we should all tool towards? Is it an angle where money is being made? Does it really bring up so much money now? Yeah, of course. Everybody gets into it. Initially, when we talk of football, everybody wants to be a footballer, and now we hear people going into comedy because there's so much money in it.
Okay, so just the way football gives money, comedy skit also gives money too. But the essence is not just the money. Okay. The essence is the passion, and we want to use it to pass a message. So we are doing comedy because not just in the Niger Delta region, the world entirely, we are using it to pass a message where we get to tell people about the way of life, the way people live, and just trying to express ourselves. That's the essence why we are doing the comedy skit, not just because of the money.
Okay, so then why did you choose Schoolboy?
Okay, so the name Schoolboy is it was first given to me by my Mark Angel. Yeah, so he looked at me and said, "See, you need to answer that name Schoolboy because I've always loved to go to school." Yes, I've always loved to go to school. Yes, even when we were having that idea that school is scam, I was like, I want to go to school. I want to see what the 4 walls of the university looks like. So I said, okay, I go with Schoolboy and use it to create a path for yourself.
Okay, so we know that your emergence in comedy and when you started making that name for yourself, it all mostly started when you met with Mark Angel. I'd like to know a little bit of that journey. How has it been? And at what point did you know that, yes, this is what I am going to be doing and I'm going to be using this craft to effect positive change in the society?
I've always known that I'm going to use my craft to, to change the society, the narratives of the society, but I did not have that platform. The platform was not there. So I was always doing what I was doing. But when I met Mark Angel in 2018, he had to sit me down and tell me that, see, if you want to do this thing, you need to understand what what the industry is about, what message you want to pass, how do you want to pass the message. So there was a lot of training before I got acquainted with what I want to do and the kind of message I want to pass.
Okay, so what then is involved in comedy skit making?
First of all, your story. You must know the kind of story you want to portray. What story do you want to tell? So are you passing message of bully, why people need to stop bully? Is it the kind of message you want to pass? If that's the kind of message you want to pass, then you start creating content in that angle. So there is a whole lot. But first of all, your story. You need to know the kind of story you want to create, first of all. So your story is the bedrock of you starting anything, comedy skit or content creating.
Okay, but let's look at the aspect of production. And I understand that for some comedy skits makers, getting a good location And sometimes the right equipment and maybe some partnerships to help propagate the message, or the people you act with on the comedy skit can be a bit of a problem. Has that been an issue for you?
Yeah, it was an issue for me when I started.
Okay.
When I started, it was an issue. Most of the time you go to a location to shoot, somebody will tell you, don't use my location to shoot. Don't use it to shoot. So you need to know where your story is driving at. You can always have a switch, a change of location. So most time you call people to come and shoot, and people will tell you, okay, I'm coming. You keep a call time for 11.
Nigerian time.
Yes, 11. We know that it's 11. No? People will start coming by 3. They start giving you excuses and stuff like that. So if you're the person carrying your vision, you need to understand that you don't need that to set you back. You need to always push ahead.
Well, there's this wave of popularity that has come in with the advent of the social media. Before now, it wasn't this popular, but then you see that a lot of youths are deploying the effectiveness of the social media to tell different kinds of stories. And it would seem as though comedy has really stood out, because you can mention all manner of characters that have been able to deploy this instrument to impact their world. Do you think that it is the go-to path to toe if, say, a young man who is aspiring to maybe get into the kind of craft you're into right now, is that a good place to start? And what are the steps that you would encourage any person who is interested in starting or carving a niche for themselves through the social media? What are those steps that they can take to be able to triumph?
Okay, so let me even say this. Comedy is powerful. Comedy is powerful. Content is powerful. So it doesn't need to be comedy. So if somebody is in the health sector and you want to pass message of health, you need to start creating content relating to health. It mustn't be comedy.
And the wealth of creativity has to come in too. Is there a way you present it and it's interesting, or there's another way you present it and people may not even listen to you?
Even when you're trying to tackle serious issues, you have to wrap it up with comedy too. You have to wrap it up with comedy. So creativity, you need to get a team of creatives. You need to get a team of creatives to work with, so that they can help you in presenting your story.
There's a time span. There's a limit that comes with people's attention span. And I understand that to be a creative, you need to factor that in, knowing that people don't really have enough patience. They may be listening to you, they could just allot just 3 seconds for you to capture their interest to stay longer. Does that affect the way you work? Have you been able to factor that in the kind of skits that you make to pass your message in the shortest possible time?
Yes. So before, I used to create content of 3 minutes. So I noticed that people were not watching. So I now had to go back to the drawing board and said, what do I need to do? And I had to know that the time span, people don't have time. People just want to get the message and pass. So you need to factor your message within 20 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. That's why you notice that reels on social media platforms fly more. When you post reels, it flies more. So your message has to be very short. You need to, put your message short and put it out there to people. So 30 seconds is enough to pass a message.
Okay, let's look at, is there a need for some form of training before anyone could get into comedy skit making? Because getting that, now we're having them spring up here and there. Is there like a training school, or is there like a platform people go to get some training, or maybe train under somebody? Is that really necessary to get into or begin comedy skit making?
Yes, before you go into content creation, you need to have training. That's why Mackenzie has a film academy where he's putting up young creatives to know what the content creating business is all about. So there's a need for younger creatives to key into this academy and learn about content making before they venture into it.
But let's also look at the aspect of the Niger Delta region and making content in this region. There's always been that conversation that Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt are the places where you can easily have your platform and easily project and, like would say, blow. Is that the same, apart from Rivers, Port Harcourt, apart from that, any other part of the Niger Delta region, is it that easy to get your message out there, your content out there, just like we have in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt?
Yes, the people that are in Lagos, is it not the same head that they have? That is the same head that they have now. So you can stay anywhere and your message will reach the world. Not just Niger Delta. What we're looking at the world, trying to hit the world. So you can stay anywhere and hit the world. It doesn't matter whether Lagos or Port Harcourt or Asaba or anywhere. You can stay in Uyo, you can stay in anywhere part of the world and you hit the world. You think it's just the right message. Just get the right message and put it out there.
Okay, now talking about representation of the Niger Delta region in content creations, not just comedy now. Do you think that the Niger Delta region has been misrepresented in some ways, especially when it comes to creating the contents that reflect directly on the societal impacts, negative societal impacts that is, and telling some of the stories of the Niger Delta region? For instance, the most common would be the issue of oil exploration and the degradation that comes with it to the environment, and how this has impacted the people living in the Niger Delta region who are from here too. Do you think that Niger Delta content creators can do more in that aspect, in beaming these stories and putting it out there, drawing the much needed awareness, governmental organizations that would be interested in effecting the necessary changes that would lead to the growth that we all look for and clamor for in the Niger Delta region?
Yeah, so that's even what my content currently is doing. If you watch my content currently, so we are trying to use the societal issues around to create humor, so that we can pass a message there and create an awareness. So aside the oil and other things, our message too can also help too.
All right. Well, that also brings me to your collaboration with Mark Angel. I know that for a while now, some time ago, there was this rift that went haywire on social media, and a lot of people were making speculations as regards the character of Mark Angel and how he relates with persons who work with him. What has been your experience with Mark Angel as a person?
Okay, so my experience with him has been awesome. It has been awesome, and I would say it's God's mandate. You know, a lot of people say a lot of things, but you need to go close to the person and get to know who that person is. So far, so good. He has really helped. He's helping a lot of people, not just me alone. So I would say let's disregard those information. Yes, you need to go close to the person and know more about the person. So
he's prior to meeting Mark Angel, what was it like for you creating content? Was there maybe a platform, or was there some form of hitches which you experienced in the process? And what was it like just before you met him?
It wasn't smooth. It was very, very rough. It wasn't smooth at all. It was very, very rough. You know, you do content and people don't get to see, or people see it and people will be like, what is this thing you're doing? I better carry this thing, go keep on place. Nobody's paying attention to what you're doing. I got to discover that I wasn't putting it the right way. Nice stories, but the way I was presenting it was bad. So when I met with him, I got to learn a whole lot of that, how to present my story and tell it to people.
All right. A lot of people will be wondering what it is that we're talking about, or what stuff you're made of. I'm sure you have a lot of fans, but then for those ones who may be wondering if truly you're funny, let's take a look at one of the skits of Schoolboy and see what craft he brings to the table and how he's able to make comedy come to life within the Niger Delta region.
I say, make I bring rice come for you. This one on my own, this one on your own. Take.
Hey friend, thank you.
Enjoy.
Wait, hey friend. This is my own. Make we chop them together.
No, this one on my own, this one on your own.
No, this your own. Keep am for Easter. This one, make we chop them together. Bring your spoon, make we chop.
Yeah. Okay.
You throw away both the plate.
He touched the plate.
Hey.
Strong man.
Orphan. Orphan, your mama don't die, your papa don't die.
Chop this side, make a chop this side.
Nothing like that. We'll go mix them, we'll go share them. We'll go chop everything. Make you no give me throw away.
There you have it. One of the productions of Schoolboy. And it makes me wonder, how long does it take for an average person who wants to use the social media as a tool to make it in content production? How long does it take? How often do you have to make productions? I know that producing can be really expensive. Do you have to post every day? Do you have to post twice a week? Do you have to post maybe once a week? How do you do it?
So I would advise for younger creatives coming up, younger creatives like me coming up. For me, I post 3 times a day, 4 times a day. So depending on your strength, but at least the average 2 times a day. Morning and evening, 2 times a day.
It's easy to produce all that and keep up to 2 times a day. We're talking of 2 times a day. In 7 days, 2 times 7, that's 14. Means you would have gone through a series of production. Yes. Is it that easy for an upcoming person?
Even me, am I not an upcoming? I'm an upcoming now. It's very, very easy now. It's easy. It's easy. In a day, I shoot like 10 videos in a day. In fact, after this section now, I have shoots, I have productions to go for.
And by the way, that video was something. And I think you're trying to capture, or you captured the aspect of poisoning friends. And what led to this message? Let's start with that. Okay,
so if you're growing up like in the Niger Delta region, we have this face me, I face you house.
Yeah.
So if you don't suffer, you live for face me, I face you house. So the wickedness that dwells within that compound. So I remember the certain time where that was during Xmas period. So the neighbor was saying, I don't cook. Oh. So when they brought the food, the mother was telling the child, go throw away that food. Our neighbor don't poison that food. Go throw away that food. So when I heard that, the thing was sounding. So I remembered it. I told Uncle Mark, let's try and see if we can create something like this. So we had to, use that to create the scenario. Indeed,
really beautiful creativity there. And I know recently too, we've been having this surge of poisoning, where we've read of a girl that poisoned her boyfriend. We've read of where friends poison themselves and poison their friends, and capturing that message, of course, also goes a long way to talk about being cautious, right? And paying attention to some of those things. But let's look at how is it going, and where do you plan to see yourself in the next few years? What's your plan? What's the strategy like?
So in the next few years, I am planning on having a school where we gather younger creatives and teach them what content creating is about. We're trying to create longer form stories. Now we are creating an awareness with my videos. I'm creating awareness, telling people what the problem is. So we are also making an avenue where we dish out the solutions to that problem in longer form content.
Indeed. Now I'd like to look at this next question as an eye-opener, especially when you consider the extent to which the social media and the technology generally has influenced the lives of youths in Nigeria and specifically the Niger Delta region. Do you think that the government, public-spirited individuals are doing enough in tapping into the wealth of tech and deploying it in such a way that it affects the growth of young persons within the region? We're talking about ensuring that we reduce the statistics of young people who are out of jobs, who do not have what to do, and encouraging entrepreneurial development and being able to have what to do, to be able to meet up the hopes and dreams that these young persons may have. You talked about a school that would be into content creation and teaching these young ones how to be to realize their dreams. Do you think that there are other components of the society that can tap into visions of this nature to expand what we can achieve in the shortest possible time and bring about these young persons being able to achieve their dreams?
So first of all, when we're talking about the government trying to do, the youth needs to realize what they want to do. The government is trying. So they really need to still do more, but the youth still on their own needs to realize what they want to do. So you don't force anybody. So while most people are going into comedy, most people are going into tech and other aspects of the social media life, the government is also trying. So the government should keep doing more. They are trying, they should keep doing more. The youth should also keep realizing and falling into those various sectors that they want to explore.
Indeed. We must really thank you, Schoolboy, for making out time to come on Niger Delta today. We appreciate the efforts you're making.
Oh, sorry. Before we even wrap up that conversation, there's an aspect I've been willing to ask those creating content, comedy skits. Now, the question of between stand-up comedy and comedy skits, there's always that variation that stand-up is not the same thing as comedy skits. Someone could be funny as a stand-upper, but may not be funny as a comedy skit maker, and vice versa. Do you share that opinion?
For me, it depends on the character you're actually giving somebody to play. You understand? You depend on the character you're giving someone. So I can't even take you the way you're talking now. See the way you're talking now is very nice. But I can't even have to go and do pastor now. You might not do pastor work.
Okay.
What if I'm a good actor?
A good actor does not mean that you can do the pastor thing. Well, there are things involved in the pastor thing.
He looks too serious. Right?
But we have posh pastors who use Queen's English to preach, and it comes out really cool. I could mention some names.
Yes, you can use Queen's English, but when it gets to the moving demon, you cannot do that part.
So grammar no go fit.
Wow.
So you need to be radical in that part. So stand-up comedy and skit making is two different things. All of them is comedy, but you know, somebody who does stand-up comedy, if you take him to go and act, he might not really be that. It's about the expression. So if he's good at expressing and delivering a character, I think he's good.
Now, how much of this has to do with discovering what works best for you? Because I feel you just know yourself and you know which parts of your craft gives you strength the more. At what point do you get to that realization that this is the part where I function better and this is the no-go area for me?
Definitely, you know now, there was a time that I was doing stand-up comedy.
Okay.
So I went to go and do stand-up comedy in one event there. I come out and get up. They talk for me. So, and I knew that part was not for me. So let me just stick to great content and, you know, put it out there and leave.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so very much for coming on Niger Delta. I mean, we got to see you're smiling, and it's. Let's not do that.
Don't I smile?
So don't go and do pastor.
Okay, you want to make some recommendations what I should do?
English teacher.
You can do literature teacher.
Or maybe I should just stick to my job. How about that?
You see the way you're speaking, I have to calm down and listen to you and say, what is he saying? Let me know that and talk another thing.
Thank you very much, Gifts Festus, Schoolboy, great comedy skit maker. I am hoping that whatever dreams you have for the future would materialize and would really need that school, especially as it's going to really help for the young persons that we have in the Niger Delta region to benefit from it. If we had people with such dreams, at least 2, 3 within the region, I am sure that we would be able to achieve our goals in the region.
We have them. Just that my word to them is, you know, put it out there, let people see it. Don't hide it. Bring it out, let people see it. So with that, it's going to be a better.
Well, let's dock with that. Thank you so very much, Schoolboy. We hope to get to see more of your comedy skits and maybe would feature him as an English teacher.